Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on finding the slope or gradient in analytical geometry. A special puzzle to warm up the brain cells is on the next slide. The answer will be given at the end. Enjoy. What is the meaning of the following? This is extremely challenging, and if you get this out, you are doing very, very well. Good luck with it. The slope or gradient. Consider the interval in the first quadrant of this number plane. The points at each end of the interval are 1, 2 and 3, 6. We can use these 2 points to calculate the slope or gradient of the given interval. The next slide will present more information about slope or gradient. Explanation of slope or gradient. The interval on the previous slide has been reproduced here. I will now try to present a simple explanation about slope or gradient. Firstly, what is the slope or gradient? The slope or gradient of a line is a number which tells us about the steepness or incline of a line or interval. The number can be an integer or a fraction. The larger the number, the larger the incline or steepness. The smaller the number, the smaller the incline or steepness. Calculating the slope or gradient. The following rule is the one used to calculate slope or gradient. Slope equals difference of y values over difference of x values. Now, to write that in an algebraic form, the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, if we take this example up here, this is x1, y1, and there's x2, y2. So x1, y1 refers to this point, x2, y2 refers to this point. Calculating the slope or gradient continued. Now we are going to do the calculations to find the slope or gradient of this interval here. So as we said before, slope equals difference of y values over difference of x values. Now difference means subtraction. That's why we have the subtraction signs here. So y2 minus y1 is 6 minus 2, which is there. x2 minus x1 is 3 minus 1, which is there. If we simplify this section here, we have 4 over 2. So the slope is 2. Slope or gradient continued. Here is another example which will highlight a very important piece of information regarding slope or gradient. Notice that this interval slopes in a different direction from the previous example. Let us find the gradient and see what happens. Please take special note regarding the calculations and the answer on the next slide. The interval above has been reproduced from the previous slide. Let us look at the calculations and the answer. The slope is the difference of the y values over the difference of the x values. There's the formula. 5 minus 2. So it's 5 minus 2. So it's y2 minus y1. That's 5 minus 2 over x2 minus x1, which is minus 3 minus 5. 5 minus 2 gives us 3. Minus 3 minus 5 gives us minus 8. So the slope is minus 3 over 8. The 3 important things to notice are: number 1, the slope is negative. Number 2, the slope is a fraction. Number 3. Slope can be represented by a whole number or a fraction. The next slide will highlight the difference between positive and negative slope. The difference between positive and negative slope. This line here, which is the blue line, has a positive slope because it is sloping in that direction. It doesn't matter where it is on this number plane. If it slopes in that direction there, it has a positive slope. This line here, that has a negative slope because it is sloping in that direction. It can be anywhere on this number plane. As long as it slopes in that direction, it has a negative slope. Now here is a very, very important note. When deciding which of two intervals or lines is steeper, disregard whether the gradients are positive or negative. We do not care in which direction the lines are drawn. We are only interested in the magnitude of the slope. In other words, disregard the sign of the gradient and just look at the numbers. The one with the largest number has the largest gradient, and that's the line which is the steepest or has the greatest incline. Quick quiz. Now make sure you check the video at any time if you need help. That's what it's there for. Puzzle 22 answer. What is the meaning of the following? Answer: foreign language. How tricky is that? I've given you a hint here just to help you out if you found that a little bit too difficult. Quick quiz answers. As always, please check the video. It is essential. If you need to do it, please do it. It's there to help you. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe on the next slide and you'll receive a notification as to when the next video is available. Hope to see you next lesson.